the future lies in the imagination. The imagination is going to get louder and louder and louder. William Blake saw this. We talk about virtual realities, designer drugs, downloading ourselves into circuitry, travel through time, disincarnate bodies, all of these things. This is all about the rules of mind overwhelming the rules of physics. The rules of physics say, you are a body, you are on a planet, you have weight, you have momentum, you have specific gravity, you must behave like this and like this and like this. And mind says, no, I want to be pure, unleashed conceptuality. I want to be a thought blown in a hyperdimensional wind. I want to move from planet to planet with the twink of an eye. I want to know everything, see everything, be everything, feel everything. And who knows, maybe this always awaited us beyond the grave, and what we're doing in some sense is drawing death into the world and erasing that most profound of all boundary distinctions. The distinction between life and death itself becomes thin, becomes transparent in these contexts. In one of Greg Egan's stories, people have this thing inside them that is implanted when you're 2 years old that's called, it starts out being called the dual, and it ends up being called the jewel. And what it is it's a thing which simply maps and studies your nervous system and creates a perfect copy in silicone of your being for the first 23 years of your life. Well, then when you're 23, you go through this ceremony where the body is vaporized, and the dual, this eternal copy of your youthful self, lives on. This is, within reach. Hans Moravec had the idea that you could nano-engineer bacteria such that you could nanotechnologically engineer a leprosy bacteria, because leprosy moves along the nerves from the point of infection. A bacteria that would lay down a thin wire of molecular gold along every nerve. And so you would undergo these operations where you would slowly be changed into a thing of gold and silicon, glass and arsenic. But there would be no moment of transition, no loss of consciousness, no speed bump, no transition of identity. It's just over time you would become something completely eternal and machine-like. That poem by William Butler Yeats, Sailing to Byzantium, where he says, "Once out of nature I would be a thing of gold and gold enameling, set before the lords and ladies of Byzantium to sing of what was and what will be. Once out of nature," what he means is when I am dead, I will be a thing of gold and gold enameling. There's the image of the flying saucer coming out of the collective unconscious. We want to become the stone. We want to become somehow a living thing that is nevertheless has the character of machinery and objectification. It's a very complex image in the human mind, with Christ at one end of the spectrum and the universal medicine of longevity at the other end of the spectrum, and then all these adumbrations and resonances, the philosopher's stone, the grail, the gift difficult to obtain, the magical object, the talking stick, the jeweled self-revealing basketballs of the DMT state. In the 53rd fragment of Heraclitus, he says, the aeon is a child at play with colored balls in eternity. And, this makes no sense until you smoke DMT, and then you find yourself in the presence of the aeon, the archon of the world age. It's a child at play with colored balls in some kind of a virtual reality.